What's up, guys? If you're billing $50 an hour and you think you're making money, you're not. And I'm going to show you why. Most people think that just because they're billing $50 an hour, they're making crazy money throughout the day and they're working 80 hours a week and they're going to bring home thousands and thousands of dollars. But in reality, if you break down the costs of what it takes you to be out there running a business or doing a side hustle even and trying to build to make money and build your future, you're not taking things into consideration like your fuel cost, your wear and tear, your vehicle cost, your vehicle payments if you have them, all of those items that go into what it takes to function for the day by the hour. So I'm going to break it down for you and show you that if you're billing $90 an hour, where you can expect to land at, and I show you how to work backwards and do the math so you can see where you need to be based on your overhead, how big your company is, or if you're just getting started, so that you're not going backwards or going out of business while you think you're making money. The reality is a general walkthrough, and the editor guys are going to put it on the screen right here for you to see. Our trucks in my company, which we have 17 on the road, basically working every single day, we average 61 miles a day per truck using the IRS mileage reimbursement rate of 72.5 cents. That's going to be about $45.25 a day. And that's going to cover your mileage and your wear and tear on your vehicle on average. So for an 8-hour day, that works out to $5.50 per hour. Insurance on our truck works out to $13.23 a day per truck, which works out to $1.66 an hour. We charge $25 a day for small materials such as caulk, screws, replacement blades, things that you have to keep on your truck for every single job, like extension cords, smaller tools that you wouldn't really think about charging extra for having for specific jobs. All those items add up quickly. When you're out there doing an estimate, you're not going to break it down unless you're doing insurance work or you're using some type of software that requires you input. We use 200 screws and we use 2 tubes of caulk and we use 1 tube of liquid nails. We use 17 razor blades, and you add all that stuff into your estimate, then you're going to have to cover that cost in a way that broadly covers it as you move forward and as you scale. Breaking it down like that's just not going to work. If you're planning on a job taking 8 hours of actual work time on site and you estimate it for 8 hours, you'll have other time in that job, including gathering materials, doing the estimate, driving to and from the job. And on average for us, it breaks down to about a 20% overreach, which is going to be at about an hour and a half for every 8 hours worked is going to be lost in non-billable time. So even if you were billing $50 an hour, which would be $400 a day, you're going to lose an hour and a half, which is $75, which automatically drops you down to $325. But if you were billing $90 an hour, which is what we try to average, that's $135 per day, which averages out to $16.87 an hour. In total, just those things right there that I just added up, the mileage, the insurance, the small materials on your truck, and the 20% of lost time for driving, materials, and estimates, then that's $27.16 just to be working. So it's costing you $27.16 just to be in your truck, out there on the job, trying to make money. That's best case scenario. So if you were charging $50 an hour, you'd actually be making $22.84 an hour, which nobody wants to do that. You can make more than that at Sheetz as a cashier. So nobody wants that. If you're doing $90 an hour like we do, that turns it into $62.84 an hour. And this is best case scenario, like I previously stated. This doesn't even include general business overhead like insurance for your business, workers' compensation, rent, truck payments. We're not even included in that. So once you factor those in, you're probably looking at $15 an hour if you're billing $50 an hour, or in our case, somewhere between $45 and $50 an hour.
Pony in the button. Please help you write comment into Pride.
This is why you don't want to guess how much you should be billing, and you don't want to guess what your rate should be, and you really don't want to negotiate with people when they tell you that you're too high, or my cousin down the street can do it for less. Tell their cousin to do the job then, because if you're not billing what you need to bill to meet all of your needs and to get you the money that you want in your pocket, then what are you doing it for? In my opinion, in this business, to some degree or another, especially when you're starting out, you're still trading your time for money. And if I were you, and I was you at one point in time, I wanted to decide how much my time was worth. I didn't want someone else to decide what that time was worth. So sit down, do the math, work it backwards, figure out what your overhead is. How much does your truck cost you every day? How many miles are you driving? How much is your fuel? How much is your insurance? How much does it cost to have miscellaneous nails, screws, and tools on your truck? Then add those to what you want to be making an hour, and that will set your hourly rate. I would say go a little bit above whatever you think that you need to do. That way you can work backwards, have a little fluff, for lack of a better word, and make sure that you're making money. The real talk is if you're charging less than somewhere between $75 and $90 an hour, you really only have three options that's going on. You're either not paying yourself, you're not making any money, and you really don't want to be in business for long. So take our formula. We will have it linked in the description below, and it'll help you break down your hourly cost for what you can input your cost of what your actual insurance is, what your actual fuel price is, what your actual truck cost is, so that you can work backwards and figure out your hourly rate moving forward. It's very important that you do this. Remember that if someone tells you that you're overpriced or that you're charging too much, that person's probably not your customer. Find your customers, do your business, and get your money. That's another video brought to you by Beyond the Estimates. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more.